We used to say, oh, there's just microplastics in the fish in the ocean. But turns out that no, it's in the entire hydrogeologic cycle. So it's in the entire water cycle. I'm Dr. Ruth Roberts, and with me today are Jay and Adrian, the two crazy cat ladies. And if you do not know them, you are not in the cat world, I think. But these ladies have brought a sense of humor, a sense of dedication to helping cats get more holistic options. Again, if you don't know them, they are a brand created to bring cat parents together and raise awareness about the health and well-being of all kitties. They were motivated by the lack of available resources for natural feline health. They've dedicated their lives to learning and sharing all they can to help cats live the longest, healthiest, and happiest lives possible. They host regular live shows on social media, connect with cat parents, and answer questions they have about their kitties, as well as sharing tips about cat health and happiness via blogs and video. In addition to their passion to learn, share, and grow together in the cat community, they offer an amazing line of natural supplements, Feline Essential, made to help and prevent common cat health issues. And worth mentioning, they also love cocktails and wine. Ladies, welcome. So happy you are here.
Thank you.
So happy
Thank
to be
you.
with you.
Yes, so
Yeah.
happy to be here, Dr. Ruth, with you and discuss this very important topic as well. We would have a cocktail, but it is 9 a.m.
Yeah.
So it's a little too early for us. And for
Well,
our
I
cocktail-
could, right at 6 p.m. for me, so right on.
you should have a cocktail in hand.
Yeah, so it goes. Golly, so what we're talking about today is one of the topics that is truly near and dear to my heart, because I think that we have some idea about how much junk there is out in the world, and we worry about it for ourselves, we worry about it for our dogs, but as usual, cats get another Southern expression, hind teeth. So they get everything last. And unfortunately, their toxic burden is often much, much higher. So,
Yeah.
what do y'all think?
Yeah.
It's crazy that we throw around that term of we live in a toxic world. And then there's this idea that we go home to this beautiful sanctuary where everything is safe. But this study really turns that all on its head.
Yeah, as Adrian was saying prior to jumping on live here, we tend to think that if we keep our home clean with all these cleaners, that we're actually doing justice to our cats. Whereas the studies now show clearly that we're doing more injustice to our cats, specifically, also our dogs and ourselves. But the cats get the brunt end of it. The cats are actually, according to the studies, the most affected, negatively affected by the chemicals within our home. And it's interesting because other studies show that in the 1980s, 1 in 200 cats were diagnosed with hyperthyroidism. And today, the studies show anywhere from 1 in 12 cats or 1 in 7 cats are diagnosed with hyperthyroidism. Now, with kidney disease, it shows that 1 in 3 cats will be diagnosed with kidney disease, and diabetes, also epidemic, right? All of these endocrine diseases that our indoor cats are now being affected by. And sure, we talk about food, we talk about enrichment and things like that. And diet is so important. You talk about it, we talk about it all the time. And yes, all of that. Yeah, food is foundational. All of that affects our cats. But
we have people come up to us on a regular basis and say, or contact us and say, I've done everything right. I've been feeding a species appropriate, fresh food diet. My cat is 6 years old and was just diagnosed with A, B, or C. So that's what this study that came out last fall, I think really shines a huge light on.
yeah,
It shows that our cats in United States households, our cats their bloodstream is 23 times more toxic than the humans in that same household, more than twice as much as dogs in the same household. And so it really makes you start asking the questions of why. They're really the canary in the coal mine. What are they? What is this all about? And I really think post-COVID, we really see this study was done. All these things that we clean our houses with, use everything to clean everything. And I think a lot of those cleaners are really contributing. Those are the endocrine disruptors.
the endocrine disruptors that we have in our home are severely impacting the cats and creating, at least contributing to in a large way, the endocrine diseases that our cats deal with. And I think it's just something that is not spoken about enough. And especially when it comes to our cats. Also in the 80s, back in the day, our cats used to be indoor outdoor cats, right? They were more considered a convenient pet or a convenient animal or pest control. Whereas today, now our cats are considered family members. And the studies are clear as far as if your cat roams outside free, if you let your cat roam outside free, then their lifespan is about 3 to 5 years versus indoors, where even if you're not feeding a great diet, they can live up to 15. So now we're like, oh, we want our cats to live longer, bring them inside our homes, and let's treat them like we're doing with our dogs. Let's treat them as family members. And this is one thing that we need to understand if they're going to be part of our family, part of our household. We need to understand that now we're taking them out from fresh air. We are removing that off-gassing that our dogs are able to do when we take them out for walks and they go out to use the bathroom and things like that. We're removing that access to keep them safe. But we have to, if we want them to live longer than 12 to 15 years, then we have to clean up their environment on the inside too.
Right on. And I think what you're saying is so true. And Sam, right on. Part of it is they're licking themselves, they're cleaning themselves constantly. And all of this junk is in the air. It's in the dust that's fallen on the floor. It's everywhere. And they're sleeping on the sofa, which is coated with fire retardant materials and all of that stuff. So it just is so frustrating. But I think what you're saying is really important. We want to keep them inside to keep them safe, but there is a lot to be said for figuring out a way to do outdoor time, because I think it used to be that somebody would talk about grounding and you'd be like, oh my God, they're deep in the woo. But there actually is quite a bit of benefit to that. To go outside and touch Mother Earth, and then you can really change your polarity, your electronic polarity in your body. And I think that's really important. But how do you do it safely?
Right. Yep, exactly.
I think it's exciting that there are a lot of the people online that are really doing the adventure cat thing. They're showing how you can leash train a cat and safe ways to do that, safe ways to travel. Server Cat Mab is one of the best as far as like really providing resources and training for those cats that have that kind of personality that want to do that. Not all cats do. We've just finished our catio. We still have to catify it on the inside. So we started letting our cats spend time outside. Our Annie still is, I don't know, she'll check it out, but really doesn't want to spend a lot of time outside. So I think there's a lot of people that are like, my cat, there's no safe way to do that. So I think a lot of this is understanding what makes our environments toxic. And I think for us, that was an illuminating moment. It's the plugins, it's the candles, it's the aerosol sprays, it's the Clorox bleaches, it's the Lysols, it's the Pine Sols, it's all the things that if you flip it over and you look at the label, they all say, if ingested, contact poison.
Secretly. Oh dear. Yeah. No, thank you.
These are all things that we think are helping our environment to be clean, to be safe, to disinfect.
And I also want to make clear here, because I hear it all the time when we talk about household cleaners, and people will say, I keep my cats away when I clean the counters or I clean the floors. I keep my cats away until it dries. Just because your cleaner has dried does not mean that it is not going to affect your cats. Their paw pads are vascular. They literally absorb these chemicals into their bloodstream through their paw pads. And then they lick and then they ingest. And it just because if you're using a chemical cleaner on your floors or your counters, or wherever your cat is walking, it being dry does not make it safer in any way, shape, or form.
Amen. And they will ingest it, they'll inhale it, it gets on the dust particles, so it's still in there circulating.
Yeah.
And we're mentioning, when we're talking about the bloodstream of our cats, the toxicity level, that 23 times, they have such little livers. We have this big detox organ. The liver is our best detox organ. And our cats, if we're not really following that path of what they're exposed to and what stays in their system or needs help to be detoxified, there is that buildup that happens. There's Andy right
Yeah,
there.
we should actually apologize
Sometimes.
in advance because our cats were not able to go out into their catio this morning,
So
and they're pretty
They're
upset
like,
with that. They're very vocal today, if you
They're
will.
chatting. Well, my God.
they're letting you know about it. Yeah. And that's exactly it. And I think one of the other things too is that there is a massive problem with indoor air pollution. All the things that you mentioned, the plugins, the deodorizers, all of that's critical to pull out. But it's really important to actually have fresh air flow through the house. And I think that's not, so many houses are sealed up like tombs. And if there's not fresh airflow coming through, then there's no way possible to really get rid of all of the junk that's in the environment. There's some tricks your HVAC person can help you with on that one. But yeah,
Open windows are awesome. I know a lot of people have allergies. One of our friends, it was like we didn't realize she was allergic to olive trees.
And we have a massive
We have
olive
a
tree
massive
in our
olive
front
tree.
yard.
But I think there's this fear of exposing our cats to anything really, or they're allergic to everything. So many times we hear my cat is allergic to grass or my cat is allergic to the outside. So what's cool is there are ways that we can purify the air in our home on a budget that
Yeah.
we
But if you bring that back, let's bring that back to the human realm, right? Like we know now from watching the generation after generation and this last generation that is bringing up kids, and they did it a little opposite from how, say, our parents did, which is roll in the dirt, get dirty, get exposed to things. These are the things that are going to actually help build your immunity. Then it went to keep your environment as clean as possible. You want to sanitize everything. And literally, so many kids grew up with these horrible immune deficiencies because they were not exposed to anything. And I think the same goes with our cats. Like, our cats are not made to be allergic to grass. Our cats are not made to be allergic to pollen. They're made to be outside. So these things don't be scared to open your window and expose them to pollens and fresh air. Like, I think fresh air is, and I know the air isn't fresh in most places anymore.
truly sad.
Very toxic, right? And there are things that we can and that we should do for ourselves and our animals to help just routinely do detoxifications so that we can, because you don't even know what all you're exposed to. But if you live within city limits anywhere, you're going to have even if you don't treat your lawns, your neighbor treats theirs. Even if you don't treat with pesticides, your neighbors treat theirs. Like, this is still traveling throughout, and we live in Las Vegas, Nevada. There's a bit of pollution in
Just a smidge.
So it's good to also do routine detoxes with our cats and ourselves, I think. For sure.
I have to agree. I think it's just gotten to the point where the level of stuff we're dealing with on a daily basis is astronomical. And we used to say, oh, there's just microplastics in the fish in the ocean. But it turns out that no, it's in the entire hydrogeologic cycle. So it's in the entire water cycle. So there was a study I read at the beginning of the year from a group that had been monitoring human placentas for the visible presence of microplastics. And as of 2021, 100% of the placentas contain microplastics. So,
again,
y'all, it's like there were a lot of cocktails after that study. It's just like, holy crap, we have, as my mother would say, we have done pissed in the grits. Y'all are bringing out the Southern in me. But it's just, oh my gosh.
that is Pissed in the Grits is going in my pocket forever.
Yeah. We're from Tennessee, and I actually grew up with Pissed in the Grits.
That's still new for me.
Yeah, y'all, yeah. And it's just, oh wow, what do we do? And thanks for putting this up. Yeah, and there is. I'm going to flash this study up real quick that you've been mentioning, and you can see this is an article from June of 23. It looks like it's on free access. So if you all search "Pets Genuine Tools of Environmental Pollutant Detection," you can read some more about this and all of the horrid truth. But I think it's, oh dear, what have we done? But it's really critical to know so that you can take action.
It's so important to know. I think it's really empowering to know. I think that we just went through our little gloom doom moment but once you piss in the grits, it's over. why are we even messing with all this? There's nothing you can do.
We are.
There's so much that we can do. And I think that's what's really exciting about this. Our cats are the canary in the coal mine. They're really showing us, wow, look at this. You wonder why we have these epidemics just on the rise for our cats. However, there is so much that we can do just within our own four walls. Listen, the world is a toxic place. That's fine. It's just we can only do so much, but within our sphere of influence, there is so much we can do. So for us, it was this kind of come to Jesus moment when Jay realized like a lot of her favorite cleaners were not healthy for us or our cats, especially for our cats.
Yeah.
A lot of them are really lethal. So looking at safer alternatives, things that we can do to just mitigate within our homes. Every little bit helps. And I think that's what's so empowering. And there are an incredible amount of recipes in the fabulous new book that just came out recently. It's still in the New York Times bestseller
I
list.
actually, the Forever Dog Life. So I actually looked it up this morning on Amazon. It's still 50% off on Amazon. And I know many of your followers also have dogs. So you should probably already have this anyway. But if you don't, if you just have cats, like this is, we went ahead and ear tipped get it? Instead of dog ear, we ear tipped the book to every page that's relevant to our kitties. And that's more than half the book. But there's so many recipes in here. We have some on a slide too. And some of them
Right
are
on.
ours. Some
Let's
of them are
pop those up.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
This right here is going to make a huge impact on your indoor environment. The floor cleaners, we thought the best thing in the world were those little Swiffer wet jets. And oh my God.
Oh my God.
No.
Dr.
No. Horrifying.
I'm telling you though, I asked Adrian for a Swiffer wet jet for like my birthday one year. And she was like, that's a cleaning supply. That's not a birthday gift. And I was like, for me, it's a birthday gift. I want it so badly. Like before we knew better, those easy to use, great smelling, all of those products were I'm a little OCD as well about cleaning. I wanted everything to smell fresh and be clean. And we learned the hard way that these things are not at all safe for our pets. And nowadays, I think now that the word is getting out there, the problem that we're having and that we're going to have more of is that many of these companies are saying natural. Now they're natural.
Buzzword.
It's a buzzword.
It's
so
unregulated.
Very unregulated buzzword. So they're able to use these terms to make us as consumers think that they're doing right by their pet, or they'll say pet safe. How many pest controls companies that say pet safe? Almost all of them say pet safe, but what's safe about it for pets? It might not immediately kill your cat or dog, but over time you are like really doing injustice to your pets in the home.
Exposure.
Yeah, the exposure to this. So we have to be vigilant about what we use. And that's why these recipes, we talked at a cat convention a few weeks ago about this subject. And there's a lot of good products out there that are actually organic and natural. And if you have the money and you want to spend a lot of it on these natural cleaning products, then you can, but do your research, because again, that term natural doesn't always actually mean natural. There could be nothing natural about it. But these recipes, what I love about it is that it saved us money. It's cheaper than going to the dollar store and buying the cleaners. It's more in the glass cleaner we have there. I swear by that. This glass cleaner, water, vinegar, alcohol, and cornstarch. And the cornstarch just helps the streaks. But we have a lot of glass in our house. We have glass tables. We have a lot of windows. We have a lot of mirrors. And I swear by this glass cleaner better than any other Windex or any other blue glass cleaner, specialty glass cleaner that I've used. And it literally costs nothing because we already have it all in our pantry.
It costs 5 minutes to mix it up.
Yeah, it costs 5 minutes to maybe 5 minutes, 3 minutes to
3 when I
put it
hold
together.
Right on. And y'all, basically what you've done is you've just declared freedom from Procter and Gamble by doing your own stuff. And eventually what happens is these corporations are like, oh, wait a minute. And when you start changing how you spend your money, and prioritizing things that truly are all natural and organic, then they actually do start making them.
Isn't
Yeah.
that exciting? I think that we're already seeing that in the pet food world, but I don't think that we consumers recognize just how powerful we are. And it's just about making these little daily decisions over time that really does move the needle, not just for our own home and the health of ourselves and our pets, but for entire industries. So that's why it can be sad and it can be scary to be like, oh my God, look at this study. We live in the most toxic world. There's no placenta on earth that's not been like we could say
It's like,
all these terrible things,
ah,
But we
there's
can't give
so
up.
much
We
we
can't
can
just
do.
give up. If we know that our cat's
Nope.
toxic level is 23 times higher than ours, then we have to do something.
We
Once you
can
know
move.
better, you have to better,
We
right?
can move that needle.
Yeah,
Right
we
on.
can absolutely move that needle. We can absolutely
Right on.
help and help our cats live healthier lives, live longer lives, hopefully avoid many of these endocrine diseases by just cleaning up their environment.
Right on. And the thing that's super important is that all of the things that y'all ear tipped in the Forever Dog book, that applies to all us mammals. And that's the
Yes.
point, is that there's a myriad of factors that are creating the epidemic of chronic disease we see in cats, in dogs, in people, in children. If we all start taking to heart these simple, inexpensive changes we can make on a daily basis, wow. Wouldn't it be
Yeah.
nice to wake up feeling great every morning and play with your kitties and everybody's happy?
Yeah.
That's the ultimate goal, is what can we do to really up level all of us at one go? And I think
Yeah.
that where you all are heading with this is so amazing, so amazing.
That's so,
Well,
it's so important.
Yeah, and shout out to Dr. Karen Becker and Rodney, because I think when we started reading this book, I was like, oh my God, if we said instead of pet, if we put person in literally almost every sentence, this is a life-changing book for humans. I was like,
And it's
what
a recipe book.
what a sneak attack.
It's not a hard read.
Yeah, because I don't know, for us, and maybe for some of you, it's like we make all of these better decisions for our cats, but we're not doing those same things for ourselves. So it's interesting to start looking at things that some people will be like, oh, well, I started feeding my dog fresh, but never thought about feeding my cat fresh.
Yeah, we get
And
to
what about feeding you fresh? Like it just is this excellent little snowball effect of common sense. And that book does a great job of turning on the light
Right
bulb.
on.
I mentioned too in that book, because Michael here said he was digging the air purifier, and I think that there's a recipe in this book for an air purifier, a DIY air purifier, because that is something that air purification systems in our home, that's something that can help mitigate just the air, right? Like just the toxicity of the air that we live in.
Right.
It can really cut back on that. Us cat people, we don't tend to have a whole lot of money. And this DIY air purifier is super cheap. Like it's a box fan and a filter, an air filter with tape, right? Like it's not hard. And I want to say that it's a little loud because it's a box fan, but we have one in our bathroom because honestly, I haven't found a hairspray that is completely natural and holds my hair. So I'm still like, we're still on this search for like, we shave our heads or what can we do?
If anyone knows of a non-toxic hairspray, drop it in the
Please let
comments.
us know. But like, it's basically one of the only chemicals that we have left in our home. I'm sure it's not, but it's every time I'm spraying my hair, I'm like, oh. So I have that box fan. I have that DIY air purifier in our bathroom. And when I'm getting ready, it is running. So that it can help to mitigate as much of the chemicals that I'm going to be spraying into the air around our cats before they hit the ground. And then
I love this. I love it. Chemical confessions.
Yeah, it's true that we can do. It all starts in one step.
progress.
It doesn't mean that today everybody needs to just throw away every cleaner in their home and throw out all your candles and all your plugins and just
replace it
but
next
but
time with
but
something
one step at a time. Like we started with our floors and our counters. We started with vinegar and water, and we learned how to start peeling some oranges and limes and lemons and put it into the vinegar mix so it smells better, so it's not that vinegary smell. and that was our first step. And then we got rid of our candles. We stopped doing the plugins. We did little by little, we slowly got rid of that. We were like, okay, I guess I could probably try this DIY glass cleaner instead of using my blue stuff. I could try it. We'll try it.
I think the biggest message about this study to me is really don't be overwhelmed, be empowered. And it's about little things over time making a big difference. Compound interest, for those of you that it is an incredible journey to start on. But do not be overwhelmed, be empowered by it, because there's so many things that we can do.
Yeah.
Right on. And that's a real simple thing, right? If we can do 2% better every day, we're going to be amazing.
I might
in
still
a
be the
year.
1% better every day, but
Right on. Little bit.
Yeah.
One of the other things that we haven't touched on, but I think is so important, is water, because all of the things you have in the comments here, all that stuff, glyphosate, heavy metals, blah, 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 all the yickies are in the water. And so I think it's really critical to do water filtration. And again, little by little. If you do nothing else, then go get a Brita filter with a chart carbon and just get the chlorine out. That's a massive first step. Plus your kitties will really love it. And we've been traveling with a Berkey filter for 6 years, which is supposed to get everything out. And it is an investment, but the upside is that once you've made it, it's done.
Yeah.
So are you all focusing on water purification, or where are you all with that?
Yeah,
For Christmas, a few years ago.
I was going to say it was about 5 years ago. For Christmas every year, we'll be like, okay, do we want to do gifts for each other, or do we want to do something like big for our cats and us? So we invested in a reverse osmosis system in the house to help the water.
But I would be curious for your opinion on this. The reverse osmosis takes out everything as well.
Yeah.
So we'll add back in
trace minerals
to
our cat's water.
What is your water?
Yeah.
What is your recommendation on that for people that have?
So anytime you filter, you're pulling stuff out, right? Whether you're filtering or doing reverse osmosis or really getting down and dirty with it and distilling, you're pulling essential minerals out. So I think you're definitely on the right track. There's a lot of ways to do it. So you can do the trace ionic drops, you can do beam minerals, you can do a myriad of things. But I think it is really important. And the other thing is that minerals are such important cofactors in almost every detoxification process. If we add those back in and maybe just a little bit more, I think we can really help everybody's ability to detoxify be amplified.
Yeah,
I love that.
Makes sense.
Yeah, because the water thing can be very overwhelming. That journey started when someone was like, hey, you can put your zip code in and find out what pollutants are in your water. And ours are like 278 times the legal limit of terrible things. So yeah, water is a big thing. But once you start going down that rabbit hole of water, it is.
You can be like, I don't think we can do anything. Right. I think we're just screwed.
Well, and so here's the thing, and I'm going to drop the environmental working group's link to tap water. You put in your zip code, just like Adrienne was mentioning, and they tell you everything. So what you want to do is put the link in before you put your zip code in. Take a deep breath and say to yourself, I am going to use this knowledge to empower me to make the next best step instead of going, So it's just right, because we can go there and be freaked out, which takes us to inaction instead of taking a deep breath and going to, okay, what is my next step?
Yes.
And you just mentioned a couple simple ones, the Berkey, the Brita, little things that we can do that just take a little extra time, filling it up, making sure we change out the filters. I think that those are little things that are just so simple. But that water thing, I love that you just said that. Before you look at your zip code, you know how they always say ignorance is bliss? This website will show that it's not. But recognize that if you didn't know it before, and once you know better, you can do better. And it's just baby steps.
Yeah, we used the Brita water filter And even just the like little water filter on our refrigerator, right? We used that up until we were like, okay, let's make this investment and let's pull the trigger.
We just got a 2-gallon under the sink, reverse osmosis.
Yep.
And yeah, it's definitely worth it for us.
Right on. And that's it. It's at some point you're going to make some investment. And I think this is a good one to do because it is critical to have super clean water. Wow.
You hear her?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, pay attention to me. Pay attention to me.
She just flopped
But I want to say that you make, for some of these things, you make an investment, and for other things, you save, right? So if you're saving on your cleaners, put that money aside to build up for some kind of water filtration system, right? It'll even out in many ways. Also, vet visits and doctor's visits, it will even out. But these investments are worth making or worth saving up to make.
Right on. And that's a brilliant strategy. You just saved a boatload of money about not having to go and buy the thing with the fancy label on it, that now you can start putting that money towards something else. So that is awesome. In terms of, okay, so we all are like, oh my God, the world is toxic. We need to detox. So what do y'all do about that with your kitties?
There are a lot of milk thistles, just like the easy go-to, right? Everybody knows milk thistles, just a great staple to add into your cat's food and your own. I take milk thistle myself to help detoxify. There's also
a love of wine and cocktails.
Oh, right.
Gotta keep the milk thistle going.
There's choline. There are a lot of good products on the market. I have to say, Adored Beast has a really good detox product that we need to get more of. It's been a little while, but we used to add to our cat's food as well. There's that dandelion root. Like there's a lot of, we're trying to distract a little possible tip. But yeah, there's a lot of products. Tell us what your favorites are.
It's really interesting. I've been doing a lot of work on this subject for the last year or so. And I unfortunately had a myriad of health issues that are related to mycotoxins, heavy metals, yada, 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 the long and ugly list. And so I think, first of all, the massively overlooked opportunity is diet.
Ooh, good one.
So it's really interesting. Our detox organs, in order of the amount that they actually handle, and this was surprising to me when I started doing this reading, is lung, number one. And what's the shock organ of cats? The lung.
What?
Asthma. Yeah. Right. So there's that. So that's the other reason why air purification is going to be super critical. The number 2 detox organ should be the gut, really the microbiome. And then number 3 should be the liver. But because so many of these other systems are already out of balance, the liver is getting pummeled. And that's what we think of is, okay, let's detox the liver, let's detox the kidneys. But first off is, if you're going to invest in anything, invest in upgrading your diet, your cat's diet, your dog's diet. And make it for cats. Absolutely, they are the species that should be eating mouse in a can, which actually did exist 20 years ago, but the ski factor was too much to make it work commercially. They should be eating a raw diet, period. But a lot of kitties are like, no, where are my carbohydrates? So you just have to work with that. So diet is critical to up-leveling the function of the microbiome so that it is able to assist in the detoxification process and take some load off the liver, I think is super, super critical. And then I would go to supplements. So milk thistle is amazing in terms of liver support. I think you were mentioning the liver tonic by Adored Beast.
Yes.
And that stuff, that's a really super product because it's a myriad of different herbs to support there. I've been using a lot of fulvic acid, humic acid supplied by Cellcore, and we will hopefully have a very cool pet-sized version of that available soon. But what we have been seeing with that and TUDCA, Michael is mentioning advanced TUDCA, is honestly nothing short of, oh, I love the photo, Michael, of miraculous. So Michael has I think Nemo is 14, maybe 15, but Nemo is cruising because we worked together. He worked with me as a veterinary technician and at Sundog Cat Moon at my last practice, 17. Holy smokes. Way to go, Nemo. Yeah.
Wow.
So we've been working together for a long time, and he is one of our first holistic pet health coaches. But so I think but what we've been seeing with these products is astonishing. They are not cheap. And so that's why I'm saying do the basic stuff first. Do the food, do the water, and work on the microbiome and see where you get. And that may be enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say, we had a moment with the beautiful herbalist Rita Hogan. She was in town visiting, and it was like, it was one of the most illuminating things I've ever experienced going through Whole Foods with her and looking at, oh, look at this one says this and this. And she's, look at this one
Bullshit.
says this. It
Yeah.
was just, it was such an illuminating education and so true that like those little shifts that we can make in our diet, incredible. You feel the difference.
Yep.
And then look at what that does for a cat, put on a more species appropriate diet. And I think for a lot of people with kibble addicts out there, there was a study that was done that really shows that when you put all those carbohydrates in their gut, the microbiomes of that microbiome that builds, when you take out the carbohydrates, it starves them. So it's literally like a reaction of a human being addicted to heroin. They are literally addicted. So go the long game, you guys. When you are looking at changing up your cat's diet, go the long game. Look at this as an addiction and start a weaning process because we're their only choice for a better
Right on.
diet, and it is possible.
Yep.
Amen. And by the way, that whole carbohydrate addiction thing, guess who else it works for?
Yeah.
Us.
True.
And I mean, we humans and cats, we've got that thing. And it's so hard for them. They're like, really? No. And they
Yeah.
will literally starve themselves to death
Yeah.
or starve themselves into hepatic lipidosis. So you cannot, as much as you might want your cat to eat something else, you have got to give that cat some grace and ease and help them make that transition into something better.
Yeah,
So
it takes longer for the majority of cats versus the majority of dogs because of that specifically. But we always say patience and perseverance pays. And that's what we learned was at the time that we switched our cats over from a kibble to a wet to a raw diet. Our oldest at the time was 18 and he took to it like that. It was within a week. And that was just because we were going slowly within a week. That's all he wanted. Whereas our youngest at the time was 7 and he was like, nope, I'm not doing this. So it took us 6, maybe 7 months of consistently being persistent. And we have tons of guidance on this. We have a full guide on our website as far as how to transition your cats, but patience and perseverance pays. Be persistent about it, but just tiny bits at a time. And like you said, give your cats grace, understand that they're addicted. And so that it makes you more compassionate about it.
But heads up that a lot of times it's less about the cat being picky and more about us being committed. Because I know that to the day our Pooh Bear left, if I made the sound of a kibble bag, he would come running. And there's something in me that just wants to, oh, whatever you want, right? Our cats may say no, but they're really saying, give me some time, give me some grace. And we need to recognize that there's going to be little heartstrings that they pull, but we have to remember that we're the ones that we're their only choice for a better diet, a better life.
Said. When I'm teaching about the original crock pet diet, which is we adapt it for kitties, and sometimes they end up liking it really well. When I was switching my own cats, our one holdout was Romy, who lived to be 23 or 24. I lost track. Took me 3 months to switch her from dry food to canned food, and then took me another 6 months to switch her from canned food to crock pet. But that's exactly what it was persistence, patience, half a teaspoon at a time, then a teaspoon, and so on and so forth. Now, the really funny thing about that is when she hit 23, I want my Friskies. And that was, no, she's, damn it, I am 23. I'm going to eat what I want. It's just, I can't believe I'm buying this. I had to look covertly around me at the grocery store because it was just the very worst. And we tried to keep her on canned food. She's, nope.
Yeah.
They're always,
I mean, when you think about it, when I'm 100 years old, if I'm like, give me McDonald's, give me McDonald's.
wow.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
100
exactly.
I
Yeah,
think, I'd be like,
enjoy it.
I can't drive. They're going to have to Uber eat that if you want it. I can't do it.
Right on. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's like I would open a can of something and they're all like, yeah. And it's no, this is for me. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's beans. You really won't like it that much
Yeah.
anyway. Cool. Ladies, and I'm going to flash these recipes up one more time because they are so cool, so slick. So if y'all have not screenshotted this yet, do it.
Yeah.
Any
And
last,
well, I think
please. Sorry.
in your group, we get it. It is as a PDF. So everybody that's in your group watching this, this should be available for download. If not now, then very soon.
Yeah.
It should be available.
And anyone
for
can reach
download.
out. If
Yeah.
they miss the screenshot, reach out. And we'll
Yeah.
happy to share it with them.
Oh, sweet,
Yeah.
sweet. Okay, cool.
Dog life. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. So I think any other comments you would make about what's your go-to strategy for detox now that I babbled on, other
Oh,
than milk thistle, or do you have more that you're dealing with at this point?
No, like after, like you said, we cleaned up the food, then we cleaned up the environment. Right now, we are very lucky to have 5 cats, all 6 years and younger. And so we have had a pretty clean environment for them since they were tiny kittens. So
Amazing.
they're doing really well. We just rotate out different detox remedies and herbal remedies for our cats. We're not even on a complete strategy, so I don't even know exactly. It's probably every like once a month, maybe once every 2 months, things like that. We will, and now we just finished the catio for them. So as soon as they've been able to go out a few times, but the temperature just went up again. So as soon as the temperature drops within the next few weeks, they're going to be able to go outside and get fresh air on a regular basis. And I think, and then as we said, the air purification systems or air purifiers that we have in the home are also, what we use. But as far as supplements are concerned, we just do a rotation of wonderful companies like yours, like Adored Beast, like that offer detox supplements.
Yeah. And great. What you said though is really sticking with me as far as diet. Like when we think about what we put in our bodies, there's less to detoxify of what we're putting in isn't toxic. So I just think, again, it's just one of those things. Don't be overwhelmed, be empowered,
Right.
Make those little decisions. What am I going to do today?
Yeah.
I'm going to get organic blueberries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Whatever it might be.
And if I have one tip is just, if the only thing that you're going to change today or this week or this weekend, make that glass cleaner. Like literally, I want you to try it, because if you have cats, you have nose marks on your windows, right? Like their little wet noses, they go up to the windows and there's nose marks all over the windows. And I swear by this, because when I use the typical Procter and Gamble type glass cleaners, it was a lot of work. I would be like, okay, I got to take an hour to clean out all elbow grease. It was elbow grease to get it off. With this stuff, this water, vinegar, alcohol mix, like it just wipes off like no big deal. So I'm telling you, if you're going to take 3 minutes to make a change today, do the glass cleaner first, just so you can see that this stuff really works. And then you take the next step. And
then it's going to snowball.
Yeah.
I love it. That is so cool. So you mean you can actually save money and do less work by
Correct.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Awesome. Cool. Ladies, this has been so much fun. And I'm so glad that you were here to share these tips with us. And most importantly, to break it down and make it simple, because like you kept saying, it's so easy to step into overwhelm, but just take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is exciting and it's empowering.
Yes.
Once we know better, we can do better. And that is a great feeling.
Amen. Amen. Cool.
There's
All right. There. Oh, look at that baby. Cool. The plume. Cool.
Dr. Ruth, thank you so much.
Yes,
for
thank
this.
you so much for
With
having us. Thank you for everything that you do.
Yes.
It is my pleasure. And I think everybody knows where to find you, but just in case, where should they go hunt you down?
Yeah, so our website is twocrazycatladies.com. That's TWO crazycatladies.com. And you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube under Two Crazy Cat Ladies, our little cartoon heads. You'll find us.
Sweet, sweet. All right, y'all, take good care. Thanks for joining us today. Hope you got a lot out of this session. And here we go. Oh, I love the hearts. Cool. All right, cheers.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.